I spawned atop a tree and with zero hesitation headed to the nearest village to steal everything they owned. After raiding the village and collecting some surface level iron, I crafted a full set of iron armor and tools, putting us about halfway through all the armor progression Minecraft has to offer, and in just under 20 minutes. This is something that's become very obvious to me recently, and I've always wished for an update that overhauls progression, adding more materials for armor, weapons, and tools, and basically just something to kind of slow down gameplay in a sense, but without making things too tedious. With Minecraft 1.20's theme being unannounced, let me pass this question on to you. What is one Minecraft update you've always wished for? Speaking of Minecraft updates, the 1.18 update was fantastic. Even though I was just having some trouble finding a deep cave that actually led anywhere, I did eventually find this cave, which is awesome. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows though. The cave was just full of mobs, I gotta be honest. It seems like this is probably like the only cave under spawn, so literally all the mob spawns are here. Luckily it's pretty easy to deal with Minecraft's mobs, at least in my opinion. I'm a pretty seasoned player, obviously. So I continued to head downwards, but that's when I noticed something. Yeah, apparently our spawn is actually right above a deep dark biome, and I had never encountered one of these before. So I was very cautious. Knowing that a warden will pretty much one-shot me, I was super scared, and that's when this happened.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah, you could probably visibly see that I was a little bit shaken up by that one. Luckily, there was no sensors around, so no wardens respawned. At least until a few moments later when I made a fatal mistake. And that, kids, is how I met your mother. Immediately regretting my decision, I made a run for it. Although it seemed like a warden didn't spawn, I wasn't taking my chances, and I ran back to the village as quickly as I could. I needed to take on the Deep Dark properly, and to do that I needed two things: copious amounts of wool, and a change of pants. So, after changing my pants, I started on a basic wool farm, and while I was at it, I also made up a cow farm because there were cows and sheep all over the area. Realizing that it would take far too long to get the amount of wool I needed, I went across the lands shearing all the nearby sheep when I happened to encounter a wandering trader. Of course, he had nothing good and I couldn't make any trades because I had no emeralds, but he did graciously gift me 2 leads. And with that, my preparations are complete. Let's head back to the Deep Dark. Upon entering the Deep Dark, I wasted no time, and I covered the first shrieker and sensors that I was concerned about. Then I looked down to notice a huge problem. Apparently a bat had wandered into the area and was setting off skulk sensors. I continued my descent downwards and was terrified to destroy this bat, but I did manage to do it without summoning a warden. As I dove deeper and deeper into this cave system, I became awestruck. I honestly didn't fully appreciate 1.19 until this moment, where I traveled through the tranquil caverns that contrasted with the immense danger of the warden. The Deep Dark's beauty left me feeling enchanted in a way I haven't felt in years in Minecraft. So I'll leave you to enjoy this wonderstruck footage in the Deep Dark. Make sure to stick around until after, because things get a little spicy. Although I had safely made it through the Deep Dark thus far, I had still made several critical errors, and unfortunately, I was not careful enough, and accidentally set off 2 more shriekers, meaning I've activated 3 in total. So why do I mention 3 shriekers specifically? Well, it's fairly simple. After this occurred and no warden spawned, I got really curious, and instead of continuing to go in blind, I looked at the wiki. And the wiki states that the 4th shrieker that the player activates in a world will guaranteed spawn the first warden, meaning the very next shrieker I activate will spawn a warden. I really didn't want to spoil myself on this information, as was the reason I was going in blind in the first place, but alas, curiosity got the best of me, and that is why I did eventually look at the wiki. Knowing this information, however, I gathered all of my courage and promptly found a completely new cave system with absolutely no deep dark in it because I did not want to deal with that. However, it seems I underestimated the sheer size of the deep dark, and instead of avoiding it, I managed to find the heart of the biome, an ancient city. I took down the coordinates, but I decided to turn around and look elsewhere because I am just not up for that challenge right now. And let me tell you, that was the best decision of my life. Although I trimmed it down an incredible amount for this video, I spent hours preparing for it and playing it safe in the deep dark and didn't manage to find a single diamond, but in like an hour of just normal caving, I found close to half a stack of diamonds. Of course, I also gathered many other materials which I'll eventually show in a recap, but nonetheless, this was a great success, even though I was occasionally still slowed down by remnants of the deep dark. Once I had gathered enough diamonds for now, I headed out of the cave system. As I was leaving, I was greeted by sweet, somber rains from far above, and if that couldn't get any more picturesque, right then and there, the rain cleared into a beautiful, hazy sunrise. Once back on the surface, I wasted no time and started accidentally griefing my own world. I placed a water bucket and did not pick it up fast enough, and yeah, you can kind of tell what happened here. Well, moving on from that mistake, I actually went to gather some obsidian for the next step in my journey. After collecting some obsidian, I promptly made an enchantment table and enchanted all my gear with basically the weakest enchantments I could get, since I'm not planning on making an XP farm for a while, and some enchantments are better than none. Oh, I also built another portal, but I have no intention of going in just yet. So, I guess I should explain that I actually do have a build I'd like to work on this episode. I have to collect a good amount of spruce and oak wood, and that's when I ran into this really cool visual glitch that you are going to be seeing in just a moment. It was with the mod that I use for most of my footage, the replay mod. It's a pretty cool glitch that actually kind of surmises everything I collected, so I thought I might as well include that in the video. Once I collected my necessary materials, I set off for a somewhat centered mountain peak near the spawn for my first build. This place will be called the Observatory for kind of obvious reasons, as it'll be a great place to look out at all the builds in the area, and it will be home to this world's history, and most importantly, a large map wall. With no real plans in mind, I just started digging at the tip of this mountain, starting with a cross so I knew how far I could dig in each direction without breaking through the mountain. I then hollowed it out and started with some decorations. You'll notice I use barrels as a bottom support for any major vertical beams, and that's because they make a nice decorative structural support. At this point, I decided that I'm going with a spruce and cobblestone type of build, mostly due to my lack of resources, as those are the main items I had on hand. Right here, I do something interesting that I thought I'd keep in the video. I'm making a very basic block palette just to figure out how exactly I want the blocks to fade into the build. I decided it's best to go from barrels to planks and then stripped logs to oak logs for the most logical type of block fade. I get started on this deck or lookout type thing, but quickly move back to the inside for a while because I was unsure about what I wanted to do here, and you'll see shortly that this lookout went through a few iterations before I was really happy with it. On the inside here, I just went crazy with decorations as I let my imagination run wild. I added a bunch of sitting areas and open walls for us to just look out because, as the name implies, this is the observatory after all. And here we go, back to the outside. As I said, I went through many iterations with this area, as is what happens when you just kind of wing things instead of really planning them out. The time between each clip that fades into the next was actually quite large, as I reworked the details on this roof many times. In the end, I did eventually rework this area enough to be happy with it, for now at least, but before that, if you haven't already, liking, commenting, and subscribing would be insanely appreciated if you are enjoying so far, and I know that every YouTuber says that nowadays, but it's really the best way to support us. So, without further ado, let's jump into first person. And here we are. For the first time, we are in the first-person perspective. Yeah, this video has been mostly cinematics and stuff. If you guys have been enjoying that, you can tell me in the comment section down below. I figured right here, it's definitely the best time to jump into first person and kind of just get on ground level and show you guys the changes I've made, because that's like the best way that I can really show it. I think I need to work on this outline right here a little bit more, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. So the inside of the roof is cobbled deep slate. I actually ran out of cobbled deep slate, and you'll see why in a second. We also put some stone bricks here just for some extra texturing. I even threw in a little bit of tuff, but I only had like literally a handful of those blocks. So as you can tell, resources are a big problem for me right now. I just don't have very many. But if we just jump right on down here, you can see that I've changed up the supports a little bit more. I felt that this structure was not grounded enough even after I added those supports, so I added just some cross sections, and I think I will eventually add some more cross sectioning here. And the reason that I do that is just because like it looks a little bit funny if you look at it just like this. Like it doesn't look like something just looks kind of wrong, and what that boils down to is that it's not properly supported, which is kind of a crazy idea in Minecraft, right? Because you can have like floating trees and stuff, but no matter what, when you're trying to build at least somewhat realistic looking structures, you kind of still have to adhere to realistic principles. But if we jump on over here, you can see there is a second peak that I have added. This one I did not do a time lapse of or show any third person perspective of because it was just this took me forever. Like these things take me way longer than I want to admit. But yeah, you know, I kind of just, it's very therapeutic to me. I just kind of build them out. I experiment with many different styles and stuff. And as you can see, this is where I ran out of deep slates. So yeah, that will be replaced sometime in the future. I just don't have it just yet. So I also want to add another one of those over here and probably another one over to this side. But again, resources being my biggest problem right now, I'm just not going to do that just yet. Also, if you've noticed, this is literally the only way to get into here so far is to literally climb up the side of the mountain, climb up onto the roof, and then drop down onto this deck. So that's a little bit hilarious. I'm gonna have to fix that sometime soon. But yeah, on the inside here, it is super cozy. I love it in here. So over here, this is probably my favorite spot in the entire upstairs area. And that's because you're going to get a really great view out this way. Now, I do have to remove this little mound here, and I will do that in the future so that you can have a better view of the ocean. And if we actually go around right here, if I upped my render distance, you'd also, actually, let me do that. Let's up it, let's throw it to 32. I don't really know if I can handle 32, but we'll throw it up there just so you can see over there. Yeah, there is a lot of cliffs in the ocean. It's so cool. I love this seed very much. But yeah, we'll jump back into the house now, and I'll show you the rest of what I've done in there. I really have to fix this whole lack of entrance thing. Getting old really quick. Oh no. Well, anyway, as you can see, there is a cozy little nook here with another viewing port. Don't know what I'm going to do here. I think this would be very hard to clear out to get a better view, so I think this may just stay as it is pretty much. And down here, if you come over to here, this is the one with the other peak. It's a pretty good viewing spot. I may expand the window. Actually, it looks okay. Kind of looks weird. I'll figure something out later. But yeah, definitely the size of this window being like that is so much, it's just so much nicer. It's like so much more open. Down here is where the first map wall is going to be. Now this is going to be a wall of just maps, and this is going to encapsulate the entire spawn area. And basically it's going to show what spawn looked like before I really started building anything. Besides this structure, and I'm going to lock those maps. Let me sleep because it's nighttime. And I'm going to lock those maps as they are so they never update. And then below this, in Or did I just take damage? I think I just took the fall damage that I was supposed to take. Anyway, in the lower floors, there is going to be another map room that I am going to continuously update, so we can compare the bottom room to the top room and see just how much we've been changing spawn. But that is not going to be done today. But we'll head back to spawn so I can show you the changes that I've made over there. So over here in the village, you'll notice that some doors are closed off. That's because I have locked up the villagers. I do not want them getting killed at night if I forget to sleep. And this is my sugarcane farm for now. Obviously, I would like to make an automatic farm very soon in the future. So down here, these animals are kind of loud, but down here, you'll see we have some bamboo, and that is because I actually found some bamboo, and I got an ocean heart from a shipwreck. We've also got a level 30 enchantment room, which I do want to enchant a diamond pickaxe. I would love to get some like an insanely enchanted boots, or just a fortune pickaxe. Fortune pickaxe would be super helpful right now. So efficiency 4. We'll try it, I guess. It's not the best, but hopefully we get fortune 3. No, just efficiency 4. All right, well, so as you can tell, I've also cleaned up the spawn just a little bit, or you may not even be able to tell because it was just a very minor amount. I've just been kind of leveling things off, making it easier for me to run back and forth between these farms. And obviously all of this is just temporary. It's just set up so that I could get resources as quickly as possible for now. Eventually, of course, I am going to automate most of this stuff. I also have no clue what I was doing here, so don't even ask me, but I do eventually want to make a staircase up to there because I gotta say, traveling from all the way down here to all the way up, I can't even see it from here, that's hilarious, to all the way up where the observatory is, which actually looks pretty cool from down here, is kind of a nightmare, I'm gonna be honest. So I can't wait until we get elytra, but that is not gonna be this episode because I think I am gonna end it off here, guys. So I want to say thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you guys stick around and continue this journey with me, because in the next episode, we're going places. We're going to the Nether. I'll see you then.